Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, today we are going to begin our module 3. This course has altogether 5 modules. Alhamdulillah, we have completed first and second, and today with lesson 8, we are going to begin our third module. So, in the previous module 2, we studied murakkab naqis, which means a combination of words which does not convey complete meanings. In English, we call it phrase. Inshallah, today we are going to study murakkab tam, which means complete combination or a sentence or a combination of words which conveys complete meanings. As you can see on the screen, murakkab tam is called sentence, which means a combination of words which conveys complete message. Example, he is my friend. It's a combination of words and it gives you complete message. Another example, he eats. Okay, as you can see, it's a complete sentence. So these are two examples of murakkab tam or complete combination of words. Okay, now as we study in module 2, that murakkab naqis or phrase, it has 4 types. We studied them. Likewise, this murakkab tam or sentence has also 2 categories or 2 types. A nominal sentence, al jumlatul ismiya, and B, the verbal sentence. Inshallah, in this module 3, we are only concerned with the type A, and that is the nominal sentence or al jumlatul ismiya. Let's see what it is. So, the nominal sentence or jumlatul ismiya, a sentence that starts with the ism. Very simple. If your sentence is starting with ism, is called jumlatul ismiya or nominal sentence. Example, al-kitabu jadidun. As you can see, al-kitabu is the word which is starting your sentence, and because al-kitabu is ism, that's why this will be called al-jumlatul ismiya. Why? Because sentence is starting with al-kitab, ism. Now, in this al-kitabu jadidun or any nominal sentence, let's look at the parts or the labels of the words in the sentence. Al-kitabu, in this example, al-kitabu, we call this first part al-kitabu as the subject or mubtada, which means the noun about which you want to say something is called al-mubtada or subject. As in this example, al-kitabu will be called your subject or mubtada. And then the second part, jadidun, what is it? Al-khabar or predicate. And what is it? The information you are giving about that noun, as in the above example, jadidun. So one more time, the ism or the noun about which you want to say something is called subject or mubtada, like al-kitabu. And the actual piece of information you are giving about that subject will be called khabar or predicate, like jadidun in this example, and which means the book is new. Okay. And last and third part or third possible part of jumlatul ismiya, which we don't have in this example, which could be, it's called muta'alliq bil khabar or related to predicate. What is it? Additional information related to khabar. Sometimes we do not have this, as in the above example, and sometimes we do have this. Let's look at one more example to clarify all of these 3 parts. So the example is Ahmed is sick in the hospital. Now, as you can see in this sentence, it is jumlatul ismiya. Why? Because it begins with the ism, Ahmed. Now, what about the labels? You want to say something about Ahmed. So Ahmed will be called your mubtada or subject. And what you actually said, that he is sick. So this sickness is the information part. It's called khabar or predicate. And in the hospital, this is the additional information. You don't need this, but you got this one in this example. So this in the hospital part, which is a prepositional phrase, by the way, is called muta'alliq bil khabar. Clear? Now look at this note. A nominal sentence must have a mubtada, but rest of the 2 parts, sometimes you have both and sometimes one of them. Clear? So as you can see, you can pause the video and look carefully these 3 parts of jumlatul ismiya. Now we'll study these 3 parts one by one in detail. Okay, let's begin with the first part, the subject or mubtada. What is it? The ism about which you want to say something, like in our examples, Ahmad was the example. I'll show you again. In this sentence, Ahmad was the mubtada. Okay, so the details of mubtada. Okay, we're gonna study now the mubtada or the first part of Jumlatul Ismiya in detail. Okay, now this mubtada, it can appear in three forms. When you read the Quranic text and we have Jumlatul Ismiya, in Jumlatul Ismiya, the subject can appear in how many forms? Three forms. First form, one word. We call it mufrad, and it will always be in rafa status, and most of the time it will be ma'rifa or proper. Okay, so one word in rafa status and ma'rifa form. Okay, and sometimes it comes as a particle resembling the verb. What is it? Inshallah, we'll see in a minute. But there's a second form of mubtada. And third form is a clause functioning as masdar. One more time. What is it? Don't worry about that. Inshallah, we'll see them all in a minute. But at this in this slide, in this screen, all I'm telling you is that this subject or mubtada, it appears in how many forms? Three forms. Number one word. Number two, a particle resembling the verb. And number three, a clause functioning as masdar. Now we will look at these three one by one. Okay, you can say in a sense that we got three buckets of mubtada. One bucket is the one word bucket, second is the second form, and third is the third form. There are three buckets. In this first bucket of one word mubtada, let's look what is the detail. This one word mubtada, it can appear in sometime a clear one word. For example, Allahu Ghafurun. As you can see, Allahu is a ism. So this is Jumlatul Ismiya. Why? Because it begins with the ism. Okay, as you can see, the status is Rafa. And Allahu is a proper noun. So it is in proper it is proper form or proper type. So Mufrad, one word, Rafa status with the Dhamma, you notice Rafa status, and Marifa because it's a proper noun. So this Allahu Ghafurun, Allah is forgiving. In this example, Allahu is your subject. What about Ghafurun? The details of Ghafurun, because Ghafurun is your predicate or khabar, its detail will come later. For now, we are only focusing on the first part of Jumlatul Ismiya, and that is your subject. And this example is that example in which your mubtada or subject appears as one word and clear one word. Okay, now sometimes this thing happens. We are still in the bucket of one word. It is called one word, but it is actually mudaf and mudaf ilay phrase together. But we put that in the category of one word. You may be thinking that mudaf and mudaf ilay together, they are more than one word. Then why do we put them in the category of one word? Inshallah, keep this question in your mind. It's a good question. It's a legitimate question. Inshallah, I will answer this bit later. Okay. At this stage, all I'm telling you that mudaf ilay. If your sentence begins with mudaf ilay, it is also example of one word mubtada. Look at the example. Rasulullahi Kareemun. The messenger of Allah is generous or is noble. Okay, now Rasul and Allahi, you can see because you have already studied this one. Rasul is your mudaf and Allahi is your mudaf ilay. How do I know? Because Rasul fulfills two conditions. Condition number one, it is not having alif lam. Condition number two, it is light. So Rasul qualifies to be mudaf. Allahi is mudaf ilay because it qualifies. How do I know? It's in jar status because mudaf ilay only need one condition. It should be in jar status. So Rasulullah, this phrase together, Rasulullah is a mudaf ilay phrase, and this is your Jumlatul Ismiya or nominal sentence. Why? Because it begins with the ism Rasul. But it is Rasulullahi is, even though it's a phrase which is a combination of two words, but it is in the bucket of one word mubtada. Clear? So far, one word mubtada can be clear one word like Allahu, or it can be a mudaf mudaf ilay. And number three, it can also be mawsoof and sifa. Look at the example. At-talibul jadidu min al-Pakistan. The new student is from Pakistan. In this example, At-talibu and al-jadidu, they are mawsoof. At-talibu is mawsoof and al-jadidu is sifa. Why? Because both of them, they match in all of their four properties. And this is the condition for mawsoof sifa, which we studied in module 2. Okay. Now, at-talibul jadid, this thing is serving as your mubtada. And this whole thing is in the category of one word mubtada. Clear? So next one, ismul ishara and musharun ilay. They are also in the category of one word mubtada. Example, hazal kitabu yahdi. This book guides. Okay, haza and al kitab. Haza is ismul ishara, al kitabu musharun ilay. Together they are called murakkab ishari. Okay, so this whole thing is serving as your mubtada and it is in the category of one word mubtada. Last one, if your sentence begins with an independent pronoun. Okay, like example, huwa Allahu. Huwa mean he. Go back and read your pronoun chart. Huwa is a independent pronoun which means he. He is Allah. Okay, so huwa is the starting point of your sentence. This will also be a jumlatul ismiya because your pronouns are ism. Okay, and huwa is a independent pronoun and it is in the category of one word mubtada. Let's take a pause and let me show you a summary. Look at this page. Before you look at the screen, please pay attention to what I'm saying now. Al jumlatul ismiya has how many parts? 3 parts. Mubtada or subject, khabar or predicate, and mutaalliq bil khabar. Now we are only studying the mubtada, the first part. Mubtada can have up to 3 forms. Form number 1 was one word mubtada. But in the bucket of one word mubtada, it could be any of these 5 things. A clear one word, a mudaf mudaf ilay phrase, a mawsoof sifa phrase, a murakkab ishari phrase, or an independent pronoun. All of them are in the bucket of one word mubtada. With this, one word mubtada bucket is completed. Now let's move on to the second form of mubtada. And what is it? Look at the screen. Second form of mubtada is a particle resembling the verb. You can see a very fancy term in the bracket, al-harful mushabbah bil fail. You don't need to worry about these fancy terms. All you need to remember is, at this stage, just look at this English phrase. A particle resembling the verb. Sometime jumlatul ismiya begins with a specific word. What are those words? You can see on your screen. This is a list of those words. Inna, anna, ka'anna, layta, lakinna, la'alla, bi'anna, li'anna. These 8 words. Whenever your sentence is starting with any of these 8 words, you know it is jumlatul ismiya and this is our second form of mubtada. Clear? Now, what you need to remember is, read this. There's a list of certain huruf like these which change the status of the ism next to them into nasab. These huruf are called particle resembling the verb. These huruf. Okay, let me show you the example and the explanation of this thing so you can be clear. Look at this slide. Sometimes you see that our jumlatul ismiya or nominal sentence starts with one of those previously mentioned huruf, any of these huruf, okay? And then right after that, a ism comes, and because of those huruf, the status of that ism becomes nasab. Remember this. Whenever any of these huruf or these particles, actually, whenever any of these particles, they start your sentence, you will see that right after this particle, you'll see a ism, but in what status? Nasab status. Remember this key point. Whenever any of these words begin your sentence, it's Jumlatul Ismiya, but you will see that whatever ism comes up right after it, it will be in nasab status. Okay, this is what I'm saying here. So that harf itself will be called mubtada, and the ism which comes right after it, we call it ismuha or its ism. Okay, and the piece of information is called khabruha or its khabar. Okay, let me show you the example to put all of that into perspective. Inna Allaha ghafurun. Inna is the starting of your sentence, and inna means that this is jumlatul ismiya, and this is second form of mubtada, because second form of mubtada means that your sentence begin with those list of words, any of the words from those list of words, and inna is one of those words in that list. Okay, so inna, look at what is after inna. Allah. What status? Nasab status. Why is it? Because of this word inna. Because the job of all of these words is that the ism which comes next to them, they put it into nasab status. And then what is ghafurun? It's your khabar. But right now, we are not discussing or focusing on the khabar or predicate part. Inshallah, it will come on its due time. For now, I'm only focusing on the subject or this first part of Jumlatul Ismiya. Okay. Inna Allah ghafurun. Indeed, Allah is forgiving. Inna mean indeed. Now, look, what about the labels? Inna mubtada, Allah ismuha, ghafurun khabruha. Okay. Inna mubtada, Allah ism of inna, and ghafurun khabar of inna. You can call it this way as well. Okay. Allah is what? Allah is the ism of inna, and ghafurun is the khabar of inna. Clear? You can pause the video and look at the screen to understand if you have any question. Okay, let's move on. One more example. Ka'annahum. Let me show you one thing again. Look, ka'anna, like inna was in this list. Likewise, ka'anna is also in this list. Okay, now look at the example. Ka'annahum khushubum musannada. They are beams of timber propped against the wall. Okay, ka'anna, as though. Ka'anna mean as though. Now ka'anna, this ka'anna part will become your ism, and what? Ka'anna part will become your mubtada. Okay, and whom? What is whom? Whom is a ism. Whatever ism comes after this word is called ismuha or the ism of ka'anna. And what? Khushubum musannada, this part will be called khabar of ka'anna. One more time. Ka'anna will become mubtada. Hum will be the ism of ka'anna. And khushubum musannada is the khabar of ka'anna. I am not, one more time, I'm not analyzing this khabar part. Okay, inshallah, khabar part will be analyzed in the next lesson. For now, I'm only showing that you got this word from that list. And right after that, in this example, you have a clear ism coming after this word, and in this example, you have a attached pronoun coming after this word. The reason I gave you this example is so you can know that sometimes you can have a clear ism coming after these words like Allah, and sometimes you have a attached pronoun coming after this because attached pronoun is also your ism. Okay, so this is our second example. Okay, second form of mubtada covered. Lastly and final point of today's lesson, third form of mubtada is called al-masdar al-mu'awwal. What is it? We are not going to study this at this stage, and that's it. Inshallah, once you have a solid foundation of the basic ideas, inshallah, in the revision session, I will explain for you this category of mubtada as well. Okay, let me go back where we started, so you can have a complete image of today's lesson. So we are studying Jumlatul Ismiya or nominal sentence, a sentence that begins with ism. Okay, it has three parts: subject or mubtada, khabar or predicate, and mutaalliq bil khabar. Today in this lesson we only discuss the first part, subject or mubtada. Subject has how many forms? Three forms. Form number one word. Form number 2, a particle resembling. And part number 3, a clause functioning as, form number 3, a clause functioning as masdar. In this one word form, we have 5 things. What are those 5 things? A clear one word. These are the 5 things. A clear one word, mudaf mudaf ilayh, mawsoof sifa, and murakkab ishari, and independent pronoun. All of them are in the bucket of what? One word. Okay. What? So this was our first form, one word. In this bucket of one word, you have those 5 which I just showed you. What about the second one? A particle resembling. In the second one, we studied that we have this particular list of words. When any of these words come in the start of jumla, it's jumlatul ismiya, and this is called our second form of mubtada. What about the third one? Third one, all we know at this stage that there's a third form of mubtada as well, but what it is, we have not studied. With this, we have completed mubtada or subject in detail. Inshallah, in next lesson, we'll study the rest of the 2 parts of Jumlatul Ismiya, which are khabar and muta'alliq bil khabar. Until next, barakallahu fi, jazakumullahu khair, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.